Namaste and good evening. Someone asked if they were curious what the pendulum would say about urban living, or city living compared to the native cultures and the effects on the community. So how does that affect people, the differences? So everything that you see gathered here, the pendulum chose. I mean, really, in me, I didn't have a lot of expectations, but there were a few, and they're not out here right now, okay? So this is just how specific this pendulum is. And I really do want to, I'm hoping I can hold this. It's a little tricky sometimes to use the pendulum and hold the phone. But, so I just want to show you how specific this pendulum is, okay? So these are the cards chosen, and I'm going to put these out. Warrior woman, and that is a Kali type of energy. And then we have 9 of Earth, accumulation, Moon, and big medicine wheel, okay? So let's see where the pendulum would like these cards placed, okay? And so it is dragging to here. So I am going to place Kali there, right there, okay? And see what else. That one should be there. And let's see what the pendulum has to say now about that. That is fine. That's fine. This is here, apparently should be placed there. It is whirling really nicely, really smoothly. You can see with this setup to this particular question, okay? And then I did do some writing. I was going to actually put on here, following a spiritual path compared to not. But the pendulum actually said, no, don't put that. And then technology came up, okay? And then the pendulum's doing the exact same thing it was, which is circle. So it just is saying, circle that. So that should be circled. So I'm going to do that. So there is the circle around technology. And let's see if anything else should be written here. It does say yes, there's something that should come right there. Okay, so native popped up in my head. So native cultures should be right there. Okay, and native cultures are anything, this has to do more, at least my feeling is, in the times when it was really lush, these cultures thrived. Because now we see with so many of the native cultures, Native American and Aboriginal, they are not thriving, they're struggling, and they're weakening in their power and strength. So when native cultures is written here, and what we're talking about is from that time where it was really thriving. It was at its zenith. And so we'll see there's nothing no in that. Okay, so that's circling nicely. And anything else here? Okay, dum. It takes a while sometimes. I just wanted people to see this process. It is drawing something. It does look like a triangle. Let's see if that's correct. That is not correct. Okay, that I'm wrong, beep. I am correct or I'm not. So it's no, I'm not correct. So let's see. There's a circle here. Okay, so it's saying put something here. Right about there. see what else. So not a triangle. A circle, a triangle with a circle around it. Okay, this is correct. Let's see. So is this right? So let's try that, okay? So we're going to do a triangle. Actually, it's not a triangle. No wonder it's a diamond. No wonder it's not a triangle. Really, you can see this pendulum is so much quicker than me. So this is more of a diamond. I suppose it's two triangles put together. Gosh. Okay, so anyway, so this is going this way, coming down, okay? So let's see if there's anything else to draw around that. It looks like a circle. I'm going to draw a circle around that. I believe it was meant to be a little bigger circle, but we'll have to go with this. So is this okay? Looking good. Anything else? There's more, people. It looks like some kind of crossings like that. Almost looks like it's going to make some kind of symbol to me. Okay, so anyway, the crossings look like they're more like those fences that you pull out. Let's see if that is a yes. Okay, I would never consider doing this ever. Okay, so it's wanting to go up. Do the best I can with getting this straight. Now down, and it did make sure this other line is in the center. It is to be in the center of that. Okay, so we're going to go up, kind of center, right? I'm not the best at this. Okay, so let's see, and then we go down, center, center. See if this is looking okay. So far, yes. Anything more there? No. Should we put anything more on this? Yes, there's still more. Okay, it is showing some water, it feels like. It's just like a water, okay? So again, it looks like, you know, water, like an ocean here. Let's see, that might be plenty right there. Anything more? No. Okay, so we have this image here. Anything more? We have technology, native cultures, and then this symbol that looks like nature, but it looks as if there's more to it. And when I hold this pendulum, it's very heavy to this symbol. It feels wonderful, actually. It's got a nice heart pull there. Yeah. So let's see where the pendulum's going to start as far as this goes, all right? It's floating over. Let's go ahead and float. And it is tapping that. Okay. And what it looks like here, at least, is this is like a crystal ball of time. And it's circling. Yes, it's like a crystal ball of time. You see it there. And it goes round and round time. People think it's linear, but it's not. There's a circular, things come back around again. And that's more the way time operates. Not linear that way, as people think. And this is representing the death of that very lush time when in the native cultures, it's representing that is really not here anymore. It's not here anymore in its fullness. It's not here anymore in its richness. Okay, and then it does have love. Okay. These cultures had so much love in them. You can see it going back and forth to this like they're equal. Those native cultures that were so beautiful and lush and rich with wisdom are equal to love. there's that image there, and there's no difference in that. It's equal. Let's see where else we flow with this in our crystal ball of time. Okay, it's going to come down. And we have this kind of similar pattern here to this a little bit. It's got some similarities to the points and the circle. Okay, but it is going around that. It will eventually answer this question. And then we're going to roll down to, right now what it's doing is equating things, one thing with another. That's really a lot of how this pendulum starts. Differences, what's equal, what's different. And it is going around the moon. There's also that moon drum there. Those are the same, okay, as that circle there. So it's just showing that, it's displaying it, circles, as well as the crystal ball being circular. It feels so light in the way it's turning here around this moon imagery. And you can see the beauty of it, the sky, the waters. You can feel the connection really with nature in this image. Okay, as we go to medicine wheel, which is another circle that revolves. You can see that the planet Earth is in the center there, and the animals are there. So that is also revolving, like all of the circles so far we're looking at. So right now we're looking at circles and their meaning. How, really the depth of the meaning of that, and especially as it relates to the native culture and just people in general. Okay, now we're coming up here. This is going over warrior woman, which she is representative of Kali. And what it's doing is it's circling around her heart, her whole form. There's that strength there, and it is also circling it. Like this has that same property or energies, okay, here in the way that it circles. And if we look at this, has more of that native wisdom. Let's see if this is right. It's right, but it's a smaller right. It's like there's a lot to this in terms of these connections, as well as to the Kali energy. And you can see the moon and stars back there. Mountains too. So let's see if we're going to go to... that just wants to keep showing these connections, how they all really are bonded together. So let's see if it will move to the question now a little more. It doesn't want to so quickly. So I'm going to let it be, and we'll see where this leads. Okay, and it'll go down and be very specific. So it is touching this earth and the rocks with the little creatures on it, showing this, the feet are there, and bare, really. You can see the feet are bare. So they have contact with the bare skin, like it's all very much connected and rooted in there that way. It's just showing how that contact is there with the bare skin. It's a difference in the way that it's connected and it flows. Oh man, it's light. So, and a lot of the native cultures did go barefoot. They could feel that earth and the grass against their feet in ways. It's right there in people that you don't even notice now with what people wear and different things. I know it's a minor thing, but very true. They don't have that same contact. Okay. And we're going here now, and it is going to point to the earth. Now we're into the earth, planet Earth, zooming in. You can see the oceans, you can see the green. It's at the center of this medicine wheel. Center of it. Okay. Where it's going with this, we're going to find out. And a lot of times it'll go to a center point, this pendulum, I notice, and then it will just want to turn around it. Like stay at that point. Sometimes it's hard to just keep a touch there, but it will spin. And that's what it's doing now. It's spinning like that. And it feels really fun once that gets going. So that's what it's doing. It's spinning around that center point. And these are things that people may look at and go, oh, what is this about? She's just playing and things. Really, I'm just following. And this pendulum is the leader of this. And it's just speaking in a way that people aren't used to, really. They're used to just reading something. Get it. Let's get with it. What's the answer? And this is giving you a beautiful display. It's completely different. It takes patience. It takes opening your heart. And it's on a different level than where the intellect lives. Much deeper, much richer if you do open up to it. So it is spinning. Why it spins in one way is to gather information. It connects with the energy. So it's really connecting with that earth, and it's going to the green a lot. You can see like connecting up, like what is this question about as far as the earth is concerned and people? And that's really where it's attempting to connect, to gather, to compute that. And it'll sometimes sit there to do that, or just make touch points and contact with it. What is that about? You know, and it'll collect it. It will read it in relation to this question. Okay, so there it sits for a few minutes. We'll see how long actually it's going to sit. And we'll see when we can gather it up. It's actually not wanting to be ready. You know, it does take time to simmer and let those properties of this particular symbol, or what the pendulum is working with, to absorb into it. And then it will move in accordance with that. Okay? So it does take a little time. It is lifting now. See if it's going to want to come more to this, okay? So now we're looking at, these are it's pointing to native cultures, circling around native, and going up and down too with that. And it looks like it's making a lot of the same pattern as those spiky mountains. Connecting up with that in this symbolic way of, and whatever this is, looks like very much of a nature, quite obviously, image. And it's connecting with it. Okay, it's flowing with it. Native. Okay, native is nature. It comes from the word nature. It's what is there to begin with, in a way. It's what is there in an untarnished way. Is nature. So it is turning around this symbol. We're getting into now a little more the details, the finer details of technology versus native cultures. Okay, so it's going to slow down, and it's just tracing these patterns to again check it, receive really what's here, and tracing it. Okay, so now maybe we'll get a little more. Okay, so the center, it's really speaking to these native cultures are at the center of, I want to say wisdom, but the center of so, just like what nature is at the center of. And if you can imagine that life would not be here without nature, it's saying that these native cultures are the same like that. They really are the foundation and center point for societies to come forward. So really, what we see today would not be there without nature, really, and without native culture that brought so much about and really held the center in so many ways. Okay, so native we see is more having to do with natural. What's natural? What's not, which means something that doesn't have a layer over it of something else. It is like the untarnished version of something. Native cultures. And so this is showing this U is like a cup. It's like an opening that holds it. It's just kind of showing that the universe does cup these cultures in a way. At least when they existed that way, it was like they filled it up so richly in such a rich way. It filled it to the brim with a natural beauty that really was just about flowing over. It was just so there. And so, you know, the difference now with this technology, it really doesn't want to leave that yet. Wants to move a little more. So we see it's trying to connect up technology and native cultures. Okay, what are those in terms of their connecting points? So it's moving between those two now. Little jaggedy there. You can feel when you go into technology, you can see how the pendulum is jumpier. Okay, I believe that's all the radiation waves that are within technology. It's like this to the atmosphere, and then you go down here, and there's the smoothest feeling. It's like my hand just rests with this smoothness, and you feel the fluidity of the water and different things. Okay, it's fluid. It's connected with it is nature, basically. Okay, and then you come up here to technology, and this is what happens. There's jumping. Okay, the radiation in the atmosphere, the mental thoughts that are there really are like the radiation, just flow through the atmosphere, you know, with all the texting, different things. It's like, I